Hi everyone, it's Plastic EP coming in from Melbourne, Australia. Let me tell you, I've got Nigel Pearce. He's coming in from near London. How are you today, Nigel?
I'm fine, Plastic. Yourself?
I like your t-shirt. You're looking good there. Oh, you got the
See my
Dalek there. That makes a difference. Yeah,
keep you in check.
that looks good. Looks like it's been made in a garage.
No, it's not been made in the garage. BBC workshops.
All right, what news have you got for everyone?
Well, first of all, let's talk about our radio shows
Go for it.
because, as you know, we go out on Swindon 105.5 FM and we go out on Poppyland FM. And I can tell you a bit of news on there. Very soon, Poppyland will be going onto the radio instead of only just onto the internet. They've got an agreement with the regulators, and we'll be going on digital broadcast DAB later this year. So I think that'll be great news and a bigger reach for Forever Gold.
I'll get a DAB radio. I'll buy one.
Well, that's what I'll have to do because in this country, we're not awarding any more FM licenses. The FM will go in time. So we're all going digital. So that'll all happen there. And they would like us to start Poppyland doing one program special per month of interviews, whether we can get an artist we can interview, or whether you've interviewed it, or whether we can adapt some of your previous interviews that you've done. And that will be a monthly Forever Gold special.
That's great.
So I think that is great news over what we've done. It shows that the show is expanding, like what we're doing. And now they're wanting background on some of this music from these fabulous artists that we've been playing. So first of all, what do you think of that?
I think that's fantastic. Looking forward to 2024.
Well, we can start that probably as soon as we can. Give us a couple of months. We'll have a chat when we're off air and we'll get it sorted. Now, the next good news. Remember those two interviews that I graciously sent you a copy of for Paul McCartney and John Lennon?
Yep.
We will be airing them. What you have to do is, if you're not going on commercial radio, you can broadcast the tracks in the UK, providing you acknowledge them first, what they were originally and where they come from.
The source.
So I will be doing that. And both those wonderful interviews will be going out on the air over the next couple of months. So I just thought you'd like to know that as well. So we will be hearing for the very first time, probably since 1968, Paul McCartney reviewing the White Album. And then in 1969, John Lennon reviewing Abbey Road. So I think that is wonderful. And they haven't been broadcast, apart from their original source, since their time of manufacture and recording in 68 and 69. So there's a real piece of radio, rock and roll and Beatle history there for us.
I believe there's one of Ringo and George. Is that right?
I know that Ringo and George did interviews for certain albums. I've yet to obtain or receive, obtain's the wrong word. I've yet to receive copies of those. They will come. And then we will upgrade and clarify and clean up.
I think I got the George one.
Well, that could be handy. But we'll have to clean it up, not re-edit. But we will have to, make sure that the music is clearer and that the voices are clearer, because 55, 60 years nearly of storage doesn't do them any good. So we'll do that. So they'll be going out in the next couple of months. So I think that's absolutely fabulous news, and they'll be Forever Gold exclusives once again.
Can't get more exclusive than that. Now, what's happening on the collectibles scene?
Hold on. We got a lot going on, Plastic. Now, a lot of your viewers, our viewers and listeners, made the mistake many, many years ago of getting rid of vinyl. Well, I don't know if you're aware of it. You are probably, but people out there, if you've now got copies of vinyl records from the 60s, late 50s, and early to mid 70s, before the punk explosion at the moment, they are increasing in value. Now, although I'm a Beatles collector, as you know, Plastic, my wife is a Bay City Rollers collector. And we've been astonished by some of their records that have suddenly started to increase in value. We bought some demos a few years ago for a couple of quid. They're now changing hands at 35 to 40 pounds each for a 7-inch single on Bell Records that is a demo. On one of their albums, Breakout 85, is now changing hands at between 700 and 800 pound a copy because it was only released in Japan. So it's a bit of advice through you to your viewers and listeners. If you've got good copies in vinyl of virtually every artist that was a hitmaker from the mid-50s to the mid-70s, hang on to them, clean them, get the original cases and start to build it, because they're now becoming a big, big, big investment. And I know that some of the stuff that you've got is exceedingly rare because you're a Monkees fan. And some of the items that you've got, as you know, in Australia are fetching incredible value. But it's now just happening to virtually everybody that was in that golden time of in and around the 60s. So I thought you would like to pass that on to your viewers and listeners.
I reckon that's great advice. And you know, even those disco 12-inch singles, they're great too because they're hard to get. All the DJs bought the 12-inch.
Yes, and I have a couple of 12-inch Beatles singles. And did you know that the 12-inch single was actually started because of Hey Jude? Because when the Beatles did test pressings, Hey Jude originally was only going to last about 3.5 minutes. After the big scream and a couple of choruses of that La 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 Di Da piece, it was going to be edited out for the 7-inch single. But they did a recording with the whole chorus in, as you know, lasted nearly 8 minutes. And they found that they could get it on to a 7-inch single, because at the time it was the longest running record and #1. But what they also did was to press some 12-inch singles. Thus, they became the first 12-inch singles the world over, which became beloved, as you said, by the club DJs and discotheques of the mid to late 70s and beyond. So a nice piece of Beatle history there. Again, so 12-inch singles are great.
I just got to say, you know, Stars on 45, the famous one where they do the Beatles medley?
Yep.
The Stars on 45, you know, the one where they sing all the Beatles songs. Well, I've got the original 12-inch, and it's mint because I've never played it. I bought it back then.
Well, the recordings were done by a very talented Dutchman by the name of Jaap Agermont. And he was the fellow that sort of put it all together. And he wanted to create, even though his voice wasn't as powerful, a Beatle-like sound, and then mix them all up, as you know, which is what he did.
Yeah, he
did. But Jaap Agermont was the name of the fellow that was behind it from Holland. So there's a bit of information for you. Now, collectors. First of all, I picked up a real gem.
Yeah, what is it?
Tony Sheridan's first album.
And it looks new too.
1962.
61. 62 or 61?
Well, as you know, My Bonnie was recorded in 1961, and so was the version of the Saints. But this is issued 62.
Okay.
Because it's got other tracks on it. But what I got this for is, if you turn over the listing, look at the top. There it is.
The Beat Brothers.
But it's the Beatles. Look, it says it. It's the Beatles.
Oh, it says it. Okay, but they're the Beat Brothers when you put out the single.
Right. Look. And right at the bottom. Yep. It's in very, very small letters there, look, with the asterisk, accompanied by the Beatles.
That's great.
So there they are, and there is the first ever commercial recordings of the Beatles on that album.
I want to see the cover again, the front of it. I just love the way it looks. I've seen it in many books, but I've never seen it like with the colour and real. Great.
And just to show your viewers, the original Polydor label.
Yeah, it's manufactured in Germany, yeah?
Yep.
And they recorded in a hall, or they recorded it when he was on stage? I think it was on stage, wasn't it?
They recorded it in a school hall.
Yeah.
And Bert Kaempfert, the famous band leader, who was the A&R man at Polydor then, brought in hefty but mobile equipment and recorded them in a school hall. So there is the original label as well.
Amazing. I've enjoyed seeing that.
So I thought that your viewers would like to see that, because although it does say Tony Sheridan and the Beat Brothers, and most of the tracks are the Beat Brothers, it was the first time, because this came out before the single, they clipped the single from this, that the Beatles, there you are again, look, very small, they are.
Yep, I see it.
They were actually on a commercial vinyl, and that was their first acknowledgement. Of course, I think it's important that we confirm that the Beatles on that were 5, of John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Stuart Sutcliffe, and Pete Best. So that is a real little piece of Beatle history. Now, new package out. Maybe not. Here it is. Looking through a glass onion.
Looks
now, that isn't the Beatles. That's all the Beatles songs that were available in England, covered by other artists.
Read a few out.
Well, here we go. And these are going to be like names of yesteryear from the British progressive pop and rock scene. Names that still reverberate today. I mean, let's face it, the last track, believe it or not, the very last track is Dame Vera Lynn.
Yeah.
And she sits alongside Deep Purple, The Eyes, Wilson Malone, The Youngbloods, The Real McCoys, Spectrum, The Merseys, Sorrows, Spooky Tooth, Plastic Penny, Jim Sullivan, Andy Ellison, Grand Union, David Graham, Cliff Bennett, The Young Idea, The Shadows, Philip Goodhand Tate, Cat Stevens, Linda Peters, Youngbloods again, The Hi-Fis, the Cowskills, Orange Bicycle, Tremolos, Duffy Power, Blonde on Blonde, Eyes of Blue, Sounds Nice, Yes, Deep Purple, The Hollies, Peter and Gordon. So I think, what a beautiful package.
Colours look great.
And it's a 5 CD package.
Oh, even better.
Look at those.
You must be running out of storage at your house. Everything's coming in as CDs now for you.
Well, that's right. But look at the designs on them.
I know you're not carrying big vinyl around.
No, but it's not that. That's the booklet as well. There's a 50-page booklet with a complete history.
Have you read that yet?
I've started to plough through it, and it explains how things happened, and it was unique. Sometimes groups, singers never turned up, so they decided to make demo recordings and various other bits and pieces, which is how all this lot came about. So that is a great package, and a lot of them haven't been heard of or seen since 1968-69. So that is a wonderful package for people that want to clan up and collect and fill up their gaps on Beatle history.
Your collection never ceases to amaze me with even the new stuff that you're getting in now. So it's not stopping. That's the great thing.
How's that?
That looks great.
The original picture cover for Oh Woman, Oh Why from McCartney, 1971. And that's now on CD.
Fantastic.
So there's a couple there. I thought you'd like to see that. Okay. And there's also the track from Ram, Uncle Albert and Admiral Halsey.
Right.
And that's mono. I've now got the stereo one. CD version of the back seat of my car.
Yeah, it's good.
Now there is the demo CD, which was done in vinyl, of 72 jingles that Paul McCartney issued to the world through radio stations for him to have Ram promoted by radio stations. That's Paul and Linda. And there's a little note from Paul. Look.
Read it out.
Here are 72 time-drifted tracks you might like to use on your radio stations to promote Ram on your shows. We made this album while we were doing Ram, and we've designed to play straight off the tracks so that you may preview them in your shows. There they are. That's right. Exceedingly rare. And also cover for Wings.
Right.
From Wildlife. There is the demo single of their version of Isn't Love Strange. So I thought that you'd like to see that.
Love is Strange. You know it was done by a husband and wife, don't you?
Yes, it was. Oh, who did? I prefer the best version was the Everly Brothers.
Yeah, fair enough.
I forget who did at this present moment the original in the 50s, because it appeared in the Dirty Dancing film. And how about that? It's been banned for many years.
Give Ireland back to the Irish.
Yeah, on CD now.
Great. Any format's good. I just like playing CDs.
Yes, but it's actually getting the CDs in hardcover because, as you know, a lot of it is digital format now, and it's exceedingly hard to get the original, tracks on CDs because you own them in your hand, like holding a piece of vinyl. I mean, look at that one.
Right.
What I like is
I got to say, that song we're talking about, Sylvia is one of the partners. Something is Sylvia.
Mickey and Sylvia. That was it, Mickey and Sylvia. I say, Sea Moon.
Yeah, that's it. I like Sea Moon.
Now, this is a good one. Apple demo, very rare, of Hi, Hi, Hi and Sea Moon.
If I had that stuff, I'd be playing it 24/7. Are you playing this on a CD player 24/7, or are you sleeping every day?
No, they're not. How can I put it? I don't play it every day, my friend.
Hey, I reckon if you were retired, you just sat there on your couch having a cup of tea, I reckon you'd easily do 20 years just listening to the CDs you got.
No. I mean, that is the case, I'm afraid. But I just thought you'd like to see those.
No, I appreciate that.
As, a few of the CD demos and tracks. Look, there's a few more. Listen to what the man said.
That's great.
Letting Go.
Yeah, good. Feels like letting go. I love those songs.
Venus and Mars.
What about Medicine Jar?
Haven't got that on the CD demo, sadly.
Okay, doesn't matter. I caught you out on that one.
Well, you haven't caught me out. You can't get it, my friend, so don't worry. But I just thought you'd like to see some of this stuff. Now, coming to the end of the situation, how about that then?
Even better. What is it? Read it out. Bad Company.
Now this, you know, the box of singles that McCartney brought out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
On a very limited edition. Well, this was one that was made for radio stations.
Probably the radio station's pretty good. Now, so what? Everything's there, is it?
Yeah, it's on a special group of it's on special CD pressings.
Unbelievable. There you go. So what? It's the same thing marketed, but just marketed for radio stations.
It was done so they could pick a track, like picking an album, and you could play the single.
Okay, great. I reckon that's fantastic what you got there. Great.
Hold on. I'll do it so you can see everything. There you go.
So I want to say something about Paul McCartney, all right? Now, with the Let It Be album, I don't blame him for getting upset with Phil Spector because the songs come from him and he didn't like someone to wreck it. In his mind, he wrecked it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I agree.
I mean, if you wrote a song and it was your song, you're able to say, right, I don't want to put it out. I do want to put it out. It's mine. I'll do what I want with it. But in this case, it wasn't. So I can't blame him for getting upset. I'm just saying, because as a songwriter, you understand that no one should touch your work and you should put it out the way you want it because you wrote it in your head.
Well, I have, as you know, both the Glyn Johns original mixes. The first one that was rejected by all four Beatles. And then he was asked to go back and do it again. And he issued a second remix of his first remix of his mix, making a second remix. That was rejected by all Beatles, including McCartney. And The Long and Winding Road was clean. There was no orchestration. And it lumbered, as you know, in stacks for 18 months, very nearly 18 months, until Phil Spector came and did what I would only term and have always termed as post-op surgery. I was never happy with Let It Be as it came out originally because I thought that the Phil Spector mix was terrible. I've got the remastered box, and I have to say that I'm not terribly enamored with that either. I think there was a golden opportunity there, and I hate to criticize, but I do. I think there was a golden opportunity to remix the entire album and put this Phil Spector mix as a curio. And I think Giles Martin should have had the license to remix it, because if anybody understands how George would mix an album, his son Giles would be able to do it.
Yeah, but he can do it now with the new technology and stripping everything back now.
That's right. But Giles could have done it in the old way of remixing the sound and listening to it. And I don't know the politics behind it.
Of course.
But I think all I'm saying through your program or our program is that I believe that Giles should have been allowed or permitted to remix the album roughly as his father would have wanted it. And I think we would have ended up with a very, very commendable Get Back. And I think some of the damage that the Phil Spector mix did for Let It Be could have been redeemed. I like the orchestral version of Along a Winding Road, and I like it clean. I like both versions, so there was more than enough scope to do that. And I know in the package they put the first Glyn Johns mix out, but they should have put the second one, because I think both were worthy. Now, whether they are saving that for another day, I don't know. So we just wait and see. But you're quite right. So I agree with you. Now, the other thing is with these promo singles, just wanted to look at that.
Yeah, they look great, don't they?
They're unique, very unique indeed.
Who made them? EMI?
No, it must have been Universal Music, because EMI don't hold them anymore. But the other thing is, you see, this was numbered, and if you look at, I'll just show you the four. Look at the numbers in the bottom right-hand corner. Hang on, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's good. What number you got there?
000002.
Oh, that's a pretty low number.
Yeah.
That's what the second set put out.
Yeah. And look at the back. Look.
Yeah, fantastic. I could listen to that all day.
But it's having the packaging.
Yeah, that's right.
See, look. Superb attention to detail.
Totally agree.
So I thought that that would make a very nice little video presentation for you today. And along with the news that we have given as regards our Forever Gold radio shows, I know that you'll be very pleased, Plastic, and I know that you and I will be talking soon, so that we can get this project off the floor and get it moving. Because I know through your good self that you've amassed a lot of great guests and artists within your shows, and to have them in the chance of having further airplay through a radio show, I think they'll make them very happy.
Exactly. Now, Nigel, I just want to say to everyone out there, is there anything you want to tell them about with your radio shows or what's coming up? Have you got an event or something coming up, or when's the next one planned at Chroma? When's that again?
Well, as you know, we go out on Saturday evenings on Poppyland Radio, Forever Gold, at 6 o'clock. So it's www.poppylandradio.co.uk, 6 o'clock. If you'd like to listen to Plastic and myself spinning through some discs, having a bit of a chat. And we will be starting, as we say, very soon, these 1 monthly, hopefully, interviews with an in-depth discussion with some of these great artists of the past. And I know that some of the things that we've got, Plastic, we've got the last interview you did with Mary Wilson. That's already to go into the can. It's in the can. It's ready to be slotted in. So, you're keeping these artists' memories and their music alive. And that's going to be an absolutely wonderful thing to do, because I'd like you and I to do Jeremy Clyde as well, because I think that would be a fabulous interview. And because we both interviewed him. And the other thing, of course, we go out at Swindon at 9 o'clock every Sunday morning. They're a bit behind us, so you won't always get the same show on a Saturday to a Sunday. So if you listen to Populand in the UK on a Saturday, and you listen to Swindon on a Sunday, you have different shows.
Exactly.
So that is marvellous. And Swindon is swindon105.5.co.uk. And what you do into your browser, you put Swindon 1055, and then you'll pick us all up. So that's another great way to listen to you and I spinning those tracks. And all I can say for that, Plastic, at the moment is thank you very much indeed for letting me join today. And how long to go before your 1000th show? It can't be far now.
I'm honest with you, I've got one to go.
I'm looking forward to being part of it, as you've said. And of course, for everybody out there, there's the book, which is going great guns.
That's great too. Tell them where to get it.
www.insideandoutside3.com. And if you, again, it's all, a lot of it goes through you as well, Plastic. You know David Bedford, and he runs the Beatles bookstore.
Yeah.
We will now find that I'm on there as well with the book.
That's great. Congratulations. I love the soft copy. I'm just saying, people can buy the hard copy for their, coffee table and all that. But me, if I'm traveling, I love the soft bound one.
It's instant, and it's like a cup of coffee. It's instant.
Exactly.
You can have a look at it. Well, Plastic, all I've got to say is thank you for your time today, my friend. You introduced the show, so I'm sure you do your usual aplomb and wrap it spectacularly. So I'll leave it all up to you.
All right, keep watching the Plastic EP. And as I said, Nigel and I do this show because we love it. It goes out there, everyone. And I'm getting very good feedback on the show, Nigel. Once I put it up, everyone's just, saying how fab you are. So, I mean, you can't get more than that. So keep watching us and we'll keep showing you the stuff. Let me say, you're a Beatle historian. You've got one of the biggest Beatle Apple collections in the world. And as I said, I'm always amazed at what you show us. Keep watching the show, everyone. We'll see you.
There you go, Plastic. Take care.